That is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Ashradadhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. The Lord clearly says, for one who is ashradadhana, who has no faith, then aprapyamam nivartante, he will not attain me. He will not be able to attain me. Mrityu samsara vartmani. He will have to take birth again in this material world. Ashradadhana purusha dharmasyasya. Although he seems to be on the path of dharma, but he doesn't have faith. It won't work. You see? The vampire will just laugh. Okay. Yes?
We may address the Lord in our thoughts, and we know that we are sincere and we can be included in Krishna's plan.
Но здесь това, в този момент умът ни казва, да, много добре, предстоящо, много си.
But at that time the mind says, very good, you're sincere, you're doing very good.
След 10 минути обаче започваме да извършваме нещо, в което извършваме оскърбление.
But after 10 minutes we start performing some activity in which we commit offenses.
Как да разберем кога сме искрени и кога сме такива, кога ума ни е обърнати?
How to understand, to ascertain whether we are sincere or just the mind is making some act, like an actor.
Someone asked Srila Prabhupada this question. How do we know when we're sincere?
Веднъж един ученик на Шрила Прабхупада го попитал, Шрила Прабхупада, как да разберем дали ние сме искрени?
And Prabhupada, he asked this person who asked that question, how do you know if you're a thief?
И тогава Шрила Прабхупада попитал тази личност, същата личност, как знаеш ти дали си крадец?
And the person thought and then said, well, I guess I'm a thief when I steal.
Тази личност се замисли и каза, аз предполагам, че съм крадец тогава, когато крада.
Yes, and Prabhupada agreed, yes. And so you know, similarly, you know when you are sincere, when you act sincerely.
И Прабхупада се поклатил одобрително и каза, да, така е. И ти знаеш по същия начин, кога си искрен, когато действаш искрено.
And acting sincerely means without a false motive.
И това да действаш искрено означава, че ти действаш без някакъв лична мотивация.
I've explained previously this word sincere in English. Some say it comes from Latin.
В предишни лекции съм обяснявал тази дума sincere, или това от английски означава искрен. Някой казва, че коренът е от латински език.
Sinecera, which means without wax.
Което означава sinecera или без восък.
Because when they were building the great city of Rome,
Защото когато изграждали този огромен град в Рим,
they were getting these big stones from the quarries, you know, where they mine the stones.
И те взимали, набирали такива огромни блокове от камък от някакви мини.
The marble.
Който бил мраморен.
Yes, so these quarry workers, they were cheating.
Те получавали тези камъни от някакви корийци.
They're supposed to give first class marble, but they were giving cracked marble.
И тези корийци, те били измамници и те предполагало се да дават първа класа мрамор, обаче давали някакви мрамори с пукнатини.
And they simply covered the cracks with wax, poured melted wax. And then you couldn't see them.
Покривали тези пукнатини с някакъв разтопен восък и тогава то не си личало.
But of course, after the building was built, and after a few hot days, the wax would melt and you would see it's full of cracks.
Но разбира се, след това, когато сградите били построени и след няколко горещи дни, восъкът се разтопява и тогава може човек да види как мраморът е изпълнен с пукнатини.
So therefore the city authorities, they had an inspector inspect all the stones before they were transported. They would only accept stones that the inspector had authorized as sinachera, without wax. So some people say that has come into the English language as sincere.
Водачите на този град трябвало да назначат инспектори, които да проверяват тези блокове, тези мраморни блокове, дали са истински, дали не са спукнатини, което означава дали нямат восък, дали са сина череп, и това означава, че са авторитетни.
Някои хора казват, че оттам идва тази дума sincere на английски.
Оттам идва тази дума.
Yeah, so of course others, they say this is not a correct explanation. But anyway, the idea is valid. What does sincere mean? It means without pretense, without a false show.
Но така или иначе идеята е същата. Какво означава искрен, това означава без някакво претендиране, някакво шоу.
Or as Prabhupada said, Prabhupada gave the example of a dog seated on the throne of a king with a crown on his head.
Друг пример, който ще Прабхупада дава на едно куче, което седи на един трон и има на главата си корона.
So similarly, a person may artificially act or assume the guise of a devotee.
По подобен начин някоя личност може изкуствено да действа или да се провлече при преданно даване.
When in fact his mind is doggish.
Докато неговия ум всъщност е кучешки.
But this will be exposed very easily.
Но това ще бъде разкрито много лесно.
Prabhupada said, you see this dog seated on the throne, he looks very impressive with his crown. But if you throw one shoe, he will jump off. The crown will go flying, and he'll bite the shoe. So similarly, someone may externally appear to be a devotee, but Maya will throw one old shoe, and then you'll see the real position. So that means not sincere. Okay. Yes?
2 days ago we were reading a class in Prabhupada, and it was Prabhupada had mentioned there that the women they can develop the spiritual qualities. Their way of becoming perfect is through serving their husbands. And they can attain perfection. She wants to know what is this perfection, and if the women in ИСКОН can attain this kind of spiritual qualities.
Yeah, this is according to Varna-ashram dharma. So Varna-ashram dharma is our Vedic social culture. Varna-ashram dharma is also material. But one can say, oh, it's just material, but at the same time, if one is dependent upon material nature, then one requires to be situated in varna and ashram.
Някой може да каже, да, тази система е просто материална, но ако човек е установен в материалния свят, тогава той се нуждае от тази варна и ашрама.
So to the degree that one is dependent on the material nature, then we should follow varna ashram dharma. Otherwise, you see, we create obstacles for ourselves. Now Krishna says that anyone, Stri, Sudra, Dvija, Bandhu, he says anyone, women, Shudras, unqualified Brahmanas, if they surrender to me, they can attain the supreme goal. So, this is possible. To surrender to Krishna's Sarva Dharmam Prityaja. And actually in this age of Kali, it is difficult. We find varnashram is non-existent. But Prabhupada said also that in ИСКОН we should establish varnashram. Because so many devotees fall down. Because they are not able to simply surrender to Krishna. So even, and then we understand from Prabhupada's instruction, even if you are one of these devotees who can surrender to Krishna, that means without consideration for your particular guna and karma, you're prepared to do anything for Krishna. As Srila Prabhupada, he gives an example in Bhagavad Gita purport, how Parashuram, he was born as a Brahmin, but he acted as a Kshatriya. Or Vishwamitra Muni, he was born as a Kshatriya, but he acted as a Brahmana. So that's liberated. But then even if one is on this platform, then because Srila Prabhupada said this is 50% of his mission, to establish varnashram dharma, so we should still, at least externally, honor the varnashram culture.
Въпреки това, понеже Шрила Прабхупада казва, че 50% от неговата мисия да се установи варнашрама, дарно ние трябва външно да почитаме тази варнашрама институция.
Anyway, we are not these bodies.
Така или иначе ние не сме тези тела.
Nobody is a man, nobody is a woman.
Никой не е жена или мъж.
Everyone is spirit soul.
Всеки един е живо същество.
And Srila Prabhupada said, when you find in the Shastra the statements of the disqualification of women, Prabhupada said that is for those who think they are women. So we should not think that we are women or men or any material designation. But we, in our service to Krishna, we accept a duty. Our duty is to set the proper example.
В нашето служение ние приемаме някакви дълг. Нашия дълг е да дадем добър пример.
This is Dharma.
Това е нашата дълг.
So, of course, we may not be able to do it very perfectly now.
Разбира се, не сме способни да правим това много съвършено в момента.
But this is Dharma nonetheless.
Новата пътка, това си е Дharma.
So we must respect it, and in our preaching we must be supportive. We must preach for Dharma, not against it.
Трябва да почитаме това и в нашето проповядване. Трябва да поддържаме тази система. Не трябва да сме против нея, трябва да я поддържаме.
So as not to create confusion in the minds of those who actually need to follow the Vedic social system in order to get free of their attachments.
И не трябва да предизвикваме объркване в умовете на тези, които се нуждаят от следването на тази варнашрама система и по този начин да им пречим. За да могат да разсъждат.
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.